Hello everyone and welcome to the Titan versus Aegis Esports Masters 600 Cap Tournament match. My name is Moose and I'm joined today by Karthik. Karthik, welcome.
Yeah, glad to be here. Excited for the clash of the Titans and the Aegis. As yeah, honestly, thanks everyone for waiting past the little bit of a delay that we had. We're excited to get the show on the road.
Definitely, for sure. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the draft here momentarily. And so for folks at home that maybe are just tuning in for the first time or don't really understand what's going on, Art of War Esports and DDG are both facing off against each other in a battle to determine which team, which group is the strongest. Both of these teams have won their respective tournaments within their leagues, Art of War for Aegis and then Drop Dead Gaming for Titan. And also, interestingly enough, this is sort of the series point between these two teams for summer of 2024. AWE lost to DDG in the grand finals of Titans Championship match, and then DDG losing to AWE in the quarterfinals of the AML. And so this is going to be a rematch between these two teams that have already proven themselves within their respective tournaments, and now one of these teams get to come out on top.
Yeah, and we're gonna see what happens right here as we get straight into the bans. We got Kennen and MF, some teamfight ultimates being taken out of the way, while Ezreal and Senna some marksman bans on the other side.
Oh, definitely. And that is very consistent with what we've been seeing from both teams. AWE very nervous about the potential of that team fight play, especially in the mid game. That Senna Ornn in the bottom lane for AWE is going to be giving DDG some pause, and so they're going to be taking that away, as well as the Ezreal Yone going to be the final option taken away from Neversaw in the mid lane.
Yep, no Wind Brothers allowed today. As we get into this first pick, I'm going to be taking a look at the marksman here with the Ezreal MF being pinched out. Oh, never mind. New character is on the Rift. We got Aurora B1.
Yep, and Aurora played in the quarterfinals match here at AML. It was played in 2 of those matches. That series did go to Game 5, but it wasn't necessarily the Aurora that sealed the deal. It was the Garen mid from Mags that was able to go in for that base race, that base rush, and finish the job in that very exciting Game 5 finish. Varus, an option that was played multiple times in that series. Nico is going to be the R2.
Yeah, and I like the Varus pick here specifically, with all the other S tier picks almost being banned out here. There's like Jhin left up, but other than that, Varus is that big lane bully that's being left up, so really gives them that bot lane priority. And the Nico, it's a flex between mid and the support. You know, you can get some crazy shenanigans in the bot lane going, but Sivir can be that alternate scaling option that they do end up picking up here.
Yeah, and so I am curious to see then what Marcotte wants to play with it. You can go for something like a tank here, could possibly pick up that Braum, take it away from the Varus. Nautilus is still an option. All of these champions that were played. However, the Renata Glass has been something that has been picked up, as well as that Zyra. Renata a little bit more in the AML than that Zyra, but instead it is going to be that Rel. Have a lot of experience with that champion in the AML, both playing with it and against it.
Yeah, I like the Rel. Whenever you're looking at an immobile carry like Varus that can dish out a lot of damage but can be focused down, getting that big engage from something like the Rel is just perfect. So like to see that engage option right off the bat that they can play around.
So now we got to see what the R3 is going to be. Swain is the hover, but Orianna is the decision. Now that kind of signals to me that we're going to be seeing that Orianna in the mid lane for Neversaw. The battle between Neversaw and Mags. In the games that I've watched, Mags isn't really necessarily somebody that gets a lot of attention from their jungler, and it allows for that scaling to come through. Also plays a lot of those dynamic and fringe picks. We saw the Gnosis played in Game 4 of the Grand Finals, and they're worried about that. That Garen ban, do not let it fool you. That is not a top lane pick. That is a mid lane ban against Mags.
Yeah, Garen usually actually popped as a counter to the Nasus. I wonder if the Nasus is going to come out tonight. I'd love to see it. Did some casting yesterday, which was, Nasus was a terror in that. So might come out today too. But for now, yeah, like you said, Orianna is that staple mid lane pick that can just kind of scale up even without too much attention.
So now as we get into the bans, Mumu is going to get taken away. One of those really nice team fight ultimate abilities. Not going to have that Curse of the Sad Mummy available for them in the jungle. Set that final option, and Skarner, that has been a threat in the AML at least, especially in the Grand Finals. One of those champions that was banned away. Is it now going to be once again taken out? And so now we got to see what the top and jungle duo needs to go for. For Art of War, it was Havoc that definitely had some struggling moments. Did get solo killed a couple of times, and so maybe they're trying to see if they can get them that counter pick. Regardless, we're going to see that Volibear get picked R4 for DDG.
Yeah, I like the Volibear, a pretty good flex coming in with both the jungle and top, so they can see what Artisan picks up here and figure out who wants to go where. But regardless, it's going to be that early game prowess coming in from the bear over here. And Udyr is, you know, a really just staple blind pick, so versatile. You can pretty much play it with anything, so I like to see that, and we'll see what ends up rounding out the comps here.
I'm not happy about the Udyr. I'm not an Udyr stan. And
I'm on the Udyr side, man.
Oh no, absolutely not. But it is going to be that pickup, and the Jax is going to be hovered. A lot of frontline if they decide to go for that with the Rel, Udyr, Jax. Could potentially be a Sejuani angle for DDG. We'll see what they decide to go for here, R5.
Yeah, I think they definitely are lacking some of the front lines so far, and Sejuani is just that big meat shield that can come help out, especially when Varus, Orianna aren't the most mobile characters, so you really need something to stop the Rel, the Udyr just getting onto you, especially with the Sivir ult speed up too.
Yeah, and it looks like they are taking their time with it. You know, frontline is maybe a problem. You do have that Pop Blossom. You do have the Shades of Corruption. And we'll see what they want to go for. It is instead going to be the Darius, which does confirm Volibear going into the jungle. What would you prefer here, Karthik? Would you prefer to go up against the Udyr or the Jax if you were playing the Darius?
Honestly, I think Darius is kind of just okay with both of those matchups. I think in this case, it's gotta be like the Jax top and the Udyr jungle. I think Udyr has fallen out a bit from the top lane as a flavor, so unless this is just some one trick of his, I think that Udyr will be coming down into the jungle. And I think honestly, even the Jax is like, you know, you're never gonna win the lane against the Darius in the early game, but you have some good, if you are able to not get behind, you're gonna be able to scale up and be a menace in those team fights. So I want to see Volibear putting some attention in the top lane, trying to get that Darius ahead, because diving is so easy with Volibear Darius.
Yeah, and let's continue on the top side train here. DDG drafting a very wombo combo style composition. All 5 of these ultimates super impactful. Does Darius go teleport, or are they going to go full early game solo, go for something like a Ghost Flash or a Flash Ignite?
Yeah, honestly, I think it does come down to the player. Personally, I'd like to take the TP so that you can still be that threat in the later stages of the game. Just looking at the comp that you're going to be facing, it's kind of hard for Darius to play these team fights, right? Catching the Sivir is so difficult. Aurora is just going to be hopping around, going invis left and right. So you really just want to be pressuring that side lane as much as you can. So I would like to see the TP for that later part and just know that you can win the early game.
And so we'll round it out then with the final question, and that's going to be Aurora here. Now, Havoc did play Aurora in the quarterfinals match that we casted here on stream in the AML up in the top lane. Did very good against all of the melee top laners that come through. So this could possibly be an angle for something like the Jax getting played by Mags and then the Udyr going into the jungle. Does that maybe change the calculus?
Yeah, it might be. Like, Aurora's always just gonna be that question mark, right? Riot's been changing her around so much too, so I'm curious to see what ends up happening. Are you personally a fan of the Aurora pick right now? You think it could do some damage this game?
I mean, we saw it deal significant damage, and especially if you're able to land a really strong ultimate and get that big wall up to keep your carries safe. I mean, Nico needs to get into the front line, Volibear needs to get in, and if you're able to deny that, you have the opportunity to really stifle what DDG is trying to go for. But laning phase wasn't anything to write home about. Behind in CS, behind in tempo. It was really trying to make the end game, the mid game be the winning factor for the team, because both teams have drafted some decent team fighting. I'm gonna give the edge to DDG there, but I'm just curious to see if it does end up going into the mid lane, or if we're gonna be seeing some draft shenanigans as we get into the game. But before we go to a break, Karthik, we got to start with the Dragon Soul game that I do for every single game that I cast. So here's what we're gonna do is there's 6 dragons total. Each of us will get 3. We're predicting what we think the soul and rift of this game is going to eventually be. You'll pick 1, I'll pick 2, then you'll pick 2, and then I'll get the remaining 1. Does that sound fair? Does that make sense?
Let's do it.
Sounds good. So with that being said, you get to go first.
All right, I'm gonna start off with the exciting Hextech Soul.
Hextech Soul, it's everyone's favorite, and on the AML, it was one of those middle of the road ones. Only saw 5 of them on stream. I'm gonna go with Cloud, and I'm gonna go with Chemtech.
All right, then I'm gonna go for some Ocean Dragon, and gonna go for Infernal Dragon, some exciting ones.
Awesome. Yep, and that's gonna be, you know, very explosive if it's any one of those 3 dragons for sure. I don't know if this is gonna be actually a dragon game, or if it's gonna be more topside, but we'll wait and see when we get into the game. Folks, if you guys are enjoying the content, I mean, this is a very fun opportunity that is being created by both Titan Esports and Aegis. These 2 teams have a history in the summer 2024 split. It's going to be a cap on that one, and a great start to the whole 2 weekends of events that these 2 organizations have lined up. This is the start of this this 2-weekend event, like I said, the Masters 600 Cap League. You've got all the other leagues coming up later on down the line. So definitely follow and support the 2 channels and esports orgs so that you guys can stay up to date on all of the content moving forward. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll jump into game 1. We'll see you guys shortly. Welcome back, everybody, to the start of game number 1. It's just as exciting as the LCS finals, which I've just been told by our producer Wookie is a banger. So we appreciate you guys spending time watching this series play out. Like I said, the series count between these two teams is 1-1. And there is a bit of a update here. We normally would have nostalgia, but there seems to be some technical errors on their end. And so we've got Alonri, Fortnite stepping in, gonna be the jungler here for AWE. Might make a difference as we start the game, but for now, we're gonna see that 5-point start.
Yeah, exactly, and actually instantly just using his ultimate here. But yeah, something I do want to point out here, Varus and Nico both have Comet. You got Ignite as well. They are going for as much early dominance as possible. They want to make sure that they are perma pushing them in, poking them down. So it's going to give them a big edge in the bot lane and hopefully a big edge in the top lane with the Darius too. Yeah,
and we were talking about that in the draft. We can now confirm that Vision of Empire gonna be going for that Ghost Flash, really looking for that side lane dominance here. So it's going to put a big strain on both Havoc and the bot lane of AWE with Gecko and Marcotte. Casters after the finals match agreed that Marcotte, MVP of the series, played exceptionally well on a variety of different champions, including that Ornn in game 1 and 2. And so we'll get to see what they do here on the Rel. But with this path top side, do you think that there's an angle here for this gank from Evil Lobster, or is this just him just trying to farm?
Yeah, not really. I think he's just gonna have to go down to his bot side. Darius just pushing that wave in completely, but Jax, he's conceding a bit, just letting it come in, not taking too much poke, so playing the part of the weak side perfectly. But look at Vision of Empire here. He goes in, gets a ward onto the enemy blue, and this allows Lobster to come in. So this has quickly just turned into a vertical jungle here, with Fortnite going in for the enemy blue as well.
Yeah, and probably going to be some communication there. Loving to go for that vertical jungling, I think, on both sides. Root's going to land, get trade onto Marcotte from Jordan Bot. But
yeah, there's no prio though in the bot lane. You see Fortnite is going to get forced out here. You can only get one camp.
Yeah, and he's going to be recognizing that as well, going to be forced out of the way, maybe trying to sneak away, and he is going to sneak back into the Wolves, going to use that blast cone, but he's going to be a little bit delayed on being able to get back onto the bottom lane and potentially go for that gank.
Yeah, he's playing with fire here, but he is going to be okay. Going to be able to come back for that Gromp too. Aurora actually spots the bear in the top side, so Udyr is going to feel safe enough to finish up the camps.
Yeah, going to be able to do so, and that wave is pushing forward, and that's going to give them enough confidence to go for that Gromp. But Havoc now potentially in trouble. Nice apprehend from Vision of Empire. Going to pop that Ghost and force the flash from Havoc.
Yeah, classic top laner pushed up, doesn't have a ward, gonna have to blow his flash there.
Yeah, and going to stay in lane. That is at the end of the day, the reward for Evil Lobster and the vision that Vision of Empire was able to get. They're going to be able to get a bit faster. They're going to get that flash out of Havoc. A little bit of stun onto Lobster, but I'm not sure if they want to continue to commit to it, as they do see Fortnite is there. Going to find Evil Lobster in the jungle, going to be able to get the stun and will force the flash, and Fortnite is going for it, going to try to get that slow and is going to get the slow in on Evil Lobster. Nice shield coming in from Neversaw, but Fortnite is going to get first blood. That's Laundry coming in. That is the all-star jungler on the AML, and Marcotte with the roam will pick up Neversaw to make it a 2-for-0 trade.
Slam dunk in the mid lane. Neversaw is going back home, but hey, you didn't believe in the Udyr. This guy, he's got an ultimate at level 3. He's just gonna come over and he outduels the Volibear in the early game and gets the first blood. Really playing the knowledge game perfectly, knowing exactly where Voli's gonna go to his Raptors, and just ends up picking him off.
That back is going to be very nice for Laundry here. 2 longswords in comparison for Evil Lobster. And that money going over to Marcotte, who stayed in lane to help Mags push it forward. Going to be coming back with that no magic mantle, some vision to continue that momentum. Going to see a little bit of trading again, once again from Havoc and Vision of Empire. Havoc does have the advantage here because he does have the teleport.
Yep, and it looks like they are going to be going over to the dragon here, and this Nico going to be helping out Lobster. They're going to pick that up, so we're probably going to see Fortnite go over towards the Grubs here. There's going to be a timing with the Darius backing, so hopefully going to be getting that, but looking over to check here actually.
Yeah, and they're going to see that pings are going to be going in on to the bottom lane from Marcotte and Gecko, maybe trying to push that up. Branding Fan is alone, and Marcotte does not have flash, so might still feel confident enough to go in. But now 3 members of DDG showing in the mid lane, trying to flex the numbers muscle and get those Void Grubs.
Yeah, and they saw Fortnite still in the mid lane as they finished the dragon, so they know the Grubs are up for grabs, and they're going to be taking those down, really pushing their lead in the early game here with all their early game champions.
And it's almost something that they need to do, especially giving up those 2 kills earlier on in the contest. Let's see what the response is in the bottom lane. Gonna get a little bit of damage onto Branny Fan, but that wave very minuscule. Can be cleared out nicely from the Varus, who now also has their Chains of Corruption available, but it will allow for Marcotte to clear out those wards.
Yeah, Sivir isn't really great at diving. She's not one of those early game strong characters like the Varus, so they can't really punish Brandy. He can just chill on his own while his team goes around picking up objectives all over the map.
Yeah, and a great start to this game and series. Gonna be another camp steal. This time going to be from Laundry at the Grump of DDG. Not feeling confident enough to go for the Wolves, however, but it's still money in their pocket. They hold a slight CS lead comparatively to Lobster.
Yeah, picking up those incremental advantages here. And Udyr in general, especially as he picks up his first item, he's got the Faded Ashes so far. His farming is going to be way faster than the Volibear, so I expect him to just start outpacing him.
Apprehend as we go topside again to Havoc and Vision of Empire. Flash just about back up. Ghost was up a little bit earlier for Vision. So unfortunately for DDG, just unable to capitalize on the summoner spells not being available for Havoc.
Exactly, but Vision, you know, he's got a little bit of a CS lead brewing, and I think maybe Lobster sniffs a gank angle coming in. He knows that Udyr is nearby, to be fair, but oh, the all-in.
Yeah, now Apprehend might be available, going to be forcing out the flash immediately, and there it is, going to turn off the turret, and no stun available for Havoc means that Evil Lobster will pick up the first kill for DDG.
Yeah, and just like that, the diving power of the Volibear here, he just Goomba stomps on him, picks up the kill, and punishes Havoc for even thinking about trying to all-in the Darius there.
Yeah, and it's very akin to what we saw in that quarterfinals match. They said it in their finals interview that Havoc definitely one of the most improved players on their team and in the AML. Still struggling a little bit, gets baited, uses the flash, going to be able to come back for teleport. However, look at the turret plates taken in the top lane. Vision of Empire already taking out 2, and a lot on the third. We are going to get a play in the mid lane, but Pop Blossom is there with Jordan Bot. Nice! Huge ultimate combo coming in from Neversaw and Jordan Bot. Neversaw goes down, but it is a 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was a great snap engage from Marcotte there, showing his MVP status, but he barely does. Actually, he does end up getting picked up, but 2 people going down from a brilliant shockwave from Neversaw. But Geico in trouble now.
Yeah, gonna drop the on the hunt, but there's not much they can do. Cleanse used previously, and that's gonna be another kill for DDG, now up in the kill count 4-3.
Yeah, not much he could do there, just could not stay around, and that's what the Varus can offer, right? He'll just pop the ult on you when it's up and just put you in such a bad position in lane that he just gets punished for staying, and now is going to end up losing an entire wave for it.
Gonna be a back potentially from Jordan, but take a look at the gold really quick, see where we stand. 1,300 gold in the pocket for Brandyfan. They want to be able to collect on those kills, and the 900 gold lead. CS advantage for Brandyfan as well. So all of that momentum, all that movement that Marcotte has been going for has given Brandyfan a pretty decent buy. I think that's going to be a BF sword when they come back with that item. And no, it's actually going to be a completed item for Brandyfan.
Yeah, Opportunity is a great item to complete early, gives you that huge spike, and he's just going to be so strong in comparison to the Sivir here, as Fortnite going to be rooted down, going to be engaged on.
Yeah, Flash going to be available, Realm Between Realms, going to have Mags in there, going to get a stun on Neversaw, but it's now been complete. Shockwave is ready again for the Orianna. That's going to mean that Laundry is now down to half HP. As the second wave of grubs is available. If DDG gets one of them, now that's 4, and that's going to be good for both Vision of Empire and Brandyfan, and both teams know it. One going to be taken by AWE, but now here comes Vision of Empire. Here comes the Pop Blossom, flashing forward, teleport coming in from Mags. They're going to try to get more kills, and they do. Despite a great Pop Blossom from Jordan Bot, Brandyfan is not there, and the 5v4 team fight goes into AWE's favor.
I mean, great shockwave on the end, but still, Neversaw is just going to have to get out of there. They played beautifully, but they did not have the numbers, so the contesting the grubs just turns out to be foolish, as Geico, he's back in the game now with that double kill. Like, they had Brandyfan just getting all the plates he wanted in the bot lane. Look at him, almost, he's going to finish the entire tower, but they once again just greed for a little too much, and they end up paying the price here.
And that's gonna be first turret down for Brandyfan. Definitely starting to become the wind condition. A Vision of Empire gonna try to take down Havoc, but that's gonna be a nice stun followed by the knockup. Is he gonna even be able to drop that Noxian Guillotine? He is, and Havoc is low. Oh, and it's a kill. Nicely done. Makes it a 1-for-1 with Marcotte going down.
Yeah, he does trade it, but he's going to end up losing the wave once again because he does not have the teleport. And just off the back end of that fight too, Havoc, I just want to mention, got a few more plates, got some gold back into his backpack too. Sivir and Jax, they were behind, but not anymore, as now Mag's in trouble.
Mag's gonna be followed up. Nice Realm Between Realms. Nice going invisible there. And now Evil Lobster forced to use the ultimate. Failed flash, going to force Evil Lobster out of that one, using the blast gun to escape as well. And yeah, AWE coming to the mid game fairly strong.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like Drop Dead were looking so good, but just a series of misfortunate events have let these late game scaling champions get the much needed gold that they needed, and now they're kind of back into this game, and they're actually in a position where they can kind of contest for that next dragon fight.
It is going to be the Ocean, but Vision of Empire possibly in trouble. Nice crash down from Marcotte. Going to force Vision into this fight. Nice apprehend to get everyone together, but where is Neversaw? Not close enough. And at half HP, they will let Vision of Empire fall. That is going to be their third death of the game.
Yeah, I mean, the idea was nice. Having Darius on the flank is great, but he just came in a bit too early. They just ran at him and killed him before the team could collapse.
So like you were talking about, early game pressure with that ghost from Vision of Empire, those two arcane comments from Brandyfan and Jordan, but mixed results. Brandyfan is well ahead of Gecko at the moment. Essence Reaver versus Opportunity up about 1,300, but across the rift, it is a gold lead for Havoc and Fortnite, and a slight gold lead for Marcotte. Going to be offset a little bit by Evil Lobster being ahead of Laundry here, but still, this is the start that AWE wanted, and I don't think DDG got all that they were looking for.
Yep, now they're applying some pressure onto the mid lane, but Marcotte's got something to say about it.
And gonna find the Magnet Storm just into Jordan Bot. Pop Blossom's going to land in onto Gecko, as well as the Chain of Corruption, but now Jordan Bot is left inside, not gonna be able to get out, and Mags will pick up their second of the game, has 5 stacks on the Dark Seal, and Malignance acquired.
Yeah, huge from Mags there. Great ultimate to get the pick onto Jordan here, and But oh, they're doing a little bit of camping, but they're instantly spotted out. Now Lobster's in trouble.
Vision of Empire is here, but doesn't have a flash. Apprehend available, and that's going to be the Stormbringer coming in from Evil Lobster, and maybe get out of this one, but Vision of Empire not long for this world, going to get this bear form stun from Fortnite, and there it is. And now Vision of Empire down. Mags is on a killing spree.
Yeah, and it's the late game scaling team that's just running down the early game team now. You can see this Volibear, he wants to be making plays. I'm pretty sure the last 3 ultimates have just been used to run away at this point. They can't seem to get their stuff together.
And now we've got a lead in gold for AWE. It is an advantage in towers for Drop Dead Gaming and an advantage in Dragons. But they are certainly falling behind the power of this late game comp. And Mags is definitely putting in work on this Aurora, a champion that they did not play at all in the AML in terms of the games that we casted. And this time, I mean, being the one that might carry them into that point where Gecko and Havoc are able to start putting in work.
Yeah, and if you're looking at Drop Dead, I think you kind of have to rely on Branny Fan, as he was the one in the bot lane getting that solo tower gold and everything, but he doesn't have flash. There's going to be a Sivir ult and Uri running at him. Oh.
And now we've got a 2v2. Teleport's going to be coming in from Mags. They want this fight. And now Jordan Bot potentially in trouble. That's going to be the stun in on a Jordan Bot. Mags is going to drop the realm between realms in on a Neversaw. Going to force the flash out of that zone. But Neversaw is not out of the woods yet. Does not have a second flash available, but can still potentially kite. And now not anymore, thanks to that flash from Fortnite. Neversaw's still going to be able to get under tower, though, and Havoc is going to complete it. Going to be able to go for the leaping strike into a killing spree.
Yeah, huge plays on the bot side. There's going to be some consolation with the inner tower being picked up on the top, but now the Herald has been spawned. The bot inner tower is in the sights, and they're going to be looking to trade the tower once again with a great play from Art of War Esports.
So now Art of War going to put in some more pressure onto that bottom tier 2 tower. Dragon is available. It is an Ocean Soul, which is one of yours, so point for you, Karthik. Let's go. But AWE knows that they've got the power at this point in the game. No run between realms available, no flashes available on either Fortnite or Havoc. But with all 5 members now showing in the river or in the mid lane, DDG going to cut their losses, back away, and give the first dragon for AWE.
Yeah, it's just so scary for them to walk up. The Varus also does have flash. I think that fight is just a little bit too difficult to win at this point.
That'll be an easy dragon for AWE, going to be starting to stack that regen. I mean, Ocean Soul can be impactful, can be a win condition. But if DDG is able to get the next 2 dragons, we're still looking at around a 28 minutes Ocean Soul for them. And considering that most of the games that were played by these 2 teams did not go the distance, I don't know if we're going to be seeing that. But for now, it's going to be a little bit of a calm before the storm as Baron spawning in a minute 15.
Yeah, I mean, if I were DDG, I don't think it would be that calm. I think they need to try and look for some picks with maybe the Varus ultimate or like a Volibear flash engage. You gotta do something, get some of those bounties off these carries of the Aurora, Sivir, and Jax, or else I feel like if you come back 4 minutes from now, Art of War will be just a bit too strong.
So now we look to continue here, and there's maybe that pick potential that you were looking for. One's going to be used by Jordan Bot, but no ultimates or summoner spells expended. Actually, I take that back. Gecko did spawn, or did use On the Hunt, which might have been the reason why they disengaged.
Yeah, just that fight or flight response coming out here. Some more vision wards going to be going down as Fortnite looking for that ward.
I'm going to be able to drop some here. Going to be putting in another vision ward at the honey fruit plant. But they're not going to, they are going to catch that ward in the river, so they will be able to clear out the top side with Baron spawning in 10 seconds. Havoc does have teleport available, has that Trinity Force unlocked. And as we get into the Baron phase of this game, We're starting to see the items and the builds start to come online. Deadman's Plate completed for Fortnite. Navori's completed for Gecko. And Brandy Fan is still looking to complete their Muramana, has a couple more attacks to finish the job. But that's going to be available for any next big team fight engagement.
Yeah, he should definitely have that available. It's going to be a big spike for him. And I'm actually wondering if he can finish up a next item. He's sitting on 1,100 gold already, as Vision of Empire is in trouble.
Oh no, and Ghost is used, has Flash available, has a little bit more healing, but you are not going to outrun the Udyr and the Jax. Mags, however, potentially in trouble. That's going to be a nice stun in on Mags. A great flash from Mags. Realm to Realm used by Mags to try to be able to stay alive. Evil Lobster, though, inside, can't finish the job onto the Aurora. That's going to complete those 10 stacks on the Dark Seal. And with jungler top and support dead, AWE looking to start Baron.
Yeah, there's a decent amount of poke on the side of Neversaw and Branny Fan though, so they're gonna look to try and poke him down, try and make something happen. But that Baron's going down pretty quickly.
Neversaw, Branny Fan very low, dangerously low. That would still be an objective or a bounty.
You're still on it.
If Brandy Fan goes down and they do get back onto Baron with 4,000 health remaining, Neversaw, no shockwave now. Gonna get a little bit of damage on to Laundry, but it's not enough. And that's going to be Baron Nashor taken at 21 minutes.
Yeah, huge for Art of War Esports now. They got them cemented in the lead, going to be taking their back, spending those items, and now they're going to be in a great position for this dragon coming up in a little bit more than a minute.
And this is where Art of War shines. When they sense blood in the water, they go for the throat. And at this point, with that 4,000 gold lead, they might feel confident enough to do that. And Mags is feeling that confidence. 10 stack Dark Seal going to be upgraded to that Magi Soul Stealer.
Yeah, and it's going to be, I think he's going to take it all the way to 25 this game, man. He's been such a slippery rabbit in these fights. They've not been able to get onto him, and his ultimates have really been great, just going back and forth, getting the picks as well. And now the Baron buff just gonna give them so much lane pressure here, right? They can get all the vision, all the prio for this next dragon.
Spawning in 30 seconds, that would spell doom for any sort of soul win condition for DDG. You're looking at, you know, maybe 34, 35 minutes for a completion there. And I think that DDG understand the situation. They understand that their position in the game is severely limited. And so they're going to go for a play top side. We've got Evil Lobster and Neversaw trying to get some damage in onto that inhibitor tower. But they're not going to be able to finish it as Mags comes in, has teleport available. The fight breaks out at Dragon. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. And so that potential angle is disrupted. Baron still available for a minute 14, and 3 members of AWE go straight back to mid lane.
Yeah, it's just so difficult for them to contest this, so just gonna have to give that up. But that also kind of brings out the question, right? Yeah, we'll fight the next one in 5 minutes when Aurora's gonna be done her 3rd item, Sivir's gonna be done the 3rd item, Jax is gonna be done the 3rd item. That's going to be just as hard of a fight, I feel like. They're going to have to try and figure out some way to come back into this game. I feel like looking for those picks on the side lane needs to be done.
And look at the vision there in the river, just still trying to find as much control of the map as possible. They know where everyone is at all times. They know the Vision of Empire is coming in. So this could be a 5v4 if they engage. They decide not to do it. Havoc still going into the bot side, moving forward 4-1 and 7 with a Divine Sunderer Triforce build. Going to be a mess to try to go up against. And if you put 2 members down there, it might give AWE the opportunity to go for that inner tower.
Yeah, now they're looking for Fortnite here, but that Udyr with the dead man's plate is just zooming around. You're never catching him.
Never catching him at all. And I don't know if you're going to be able to contest him. 14 level for Laundry comparatively to Evil Lobster, who is level 11 on the Volibear. Not the game that they wanted to start off this series. Still yet to complete that event plate.
Yeah, and Volibear feels a bit bad at this point. You know, you're already starting to scale off at like 25 to 30 minutes, but being behind just makes it like you're just a little meat shield for Varus at this point, a little like flash stun bot if it comes down to it. So he's got to try and find the best ways to make himself useful. I would say as like a low econ jungler, and it's gonna come down to like when he has his flash up, maybe try and look for the Aurora before she finishes her Zanya to get a pick onto her.
I would take all of those stacks on the Magi's as well. Taking a look at items, we can also take a look at the gold really quick, Wookie, and see where the battle is between Brandyfan and Gecko. Brandyfan is still up about 800, but that is fairly negligible at this point, as both of them are at around the same item spike. But now Neversaw, unfortunately, going into the wrong side of the rift. Going to get Fortnite their 4th kill of the game, 4-0 and 8 on the Udyr, and 2 more stacks from Aegis' Magi Soul Sealer.
Yeah, he never saw that one coming. Instantly just wiped out as the inner tower is up next for grabs, both on mid and top lane here.
Still a 4v5 power play for AWE. Minute 18 remaining until Baron spawns once again. And I feel like that's a fight that DDG has to go for.
Yeah, you almost have to, right? Like, it's only gonna get worse from here. We all know the tales of, oh, here we go.
And this is going to be engaging on to 2. They find Marco, they find Fortnite, but Gecko able to stay alive, and they can re-engage. Gecko, that is a 3-item Sivir with Navori quick plays, my friend. They are going to be just obliterated immediately, and Marco is able to get out thanks to that flash. 2 more members of DDG go down. It is 18-5.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, that was a good engage in an even game, but if you're going to be doing it this far behind, it's a too little too late, as Neversaw is under sights again. His flash is like a second from coming up, but it's not going to come up in time.
And with no Seeker's arm guard and just 2 items remaining, you didn't even have our Seraph's Embrace off of cooldown. You didn't get that extra shield. And now Mags has the big Zhonya's Hourglass, going to be such a pest to kill and eliminate here as Baron spawns in less than 5 seconds. Jordan Bot going to come in. They're going to find some damage in onto Havoc, who is all alone here at the moment, but it's taking a lot of time off of the clock, and the rest of AWE are going towards Baron. Nice flash, but a great chance of corruption there from Brandyfan. Will be able to get the shutdown onto the Jax, and Baron is now down to 5,000 HP. Teleport's going to come in from Neversaw, as Magnus is going to come in with Realm Between Realms. Evil Lobster maybe going to try to come through. Oh no! Mags is down, but it is still a 4v3 with a very fed Sivir. Going to be putting in a lot of damage on Neversaw. He's going to be forced to flash away. Evil Lobster, level 12 comparatively to level 18 on Laundry. They're going to back off, and that is a small consolation prize. You do get the kill onto Mags, and you stop Baron from AWE.
Yeah, Max with a little bit of an oopsie there with the ultimate. Ends up giving over a kill, but not too big of a throw there. They are just gonna take the Ocean Dragon, getting them up to Soul Point here. They're still in a pretty chill place. They even Havoc actually gave up a shutdown, so that is something. You can see Varus, I believe, got one of those. He's in a pretty good spot in terms of like the gold he has. He's on 320 CS as well. It's really gonna come down to, I think Brandyfan has to go nuclear in this next fight to really have a chance of bringing back for DDG.
And so, I mean, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the build. You've got Sherelda's, you've got Muramana, you've got Opportunity, and you've got that Edge of Night. Is that a build that is going to be able to get through the front line and seal the deal?
Honestly, no, man. Like, he kind of all in on that early game. Varus is going to win lane, and he did, to be fair, but looking back 30 minutes later, how are you going to get through such a tanky Jax, Udyr, and Rel all coming at you with some Sivir speed, right? It's just so difficult. You're not going for like an on-hit attack speed kind of build or anything. So I don't know, miracles must happen. We'll see if Brandyfan can do it as the Baron gets started up.
And Vision of Empire does not have teleport. Havoc does. So they will be here for a 4v5 play. And now Vision of Empire roaming in. It's going to be a very aggressive teleport coming in from Havoc. But there's the realm between realms. Jordan Buck going to be able to get a nice stun in on to Mags, who has to drop their Zonias. But it is enough for them to be able to survive. And that's going to be 2 more kills for AWE. Havoc going to be going in with Counter-Strike. Going to be able to try to land a stun. Cannot land it. But Vision of Empire caught in the scuffle. And now with 2 members alive for DDG, this is looking like curtains out for game 1.
Yeah, they're just gonna have to do their victory march in the base as the carries are not, or Darius and Ori are not up. So just gonna be 2 turrets and the Nexus standing in the way. The bear goes in to clear the way, but he's down.
And that's gonna be it. Game 1 goes to AWE. Early game a little rough for them, but the mid to late game absolutely dominant.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, with that kind of comp, early game is going to be a little bit rough, but they made sure to give over what they really did need to contest, fight for the things when they needed to, and honestly played it pretty perfectly. A little bit of a throw near the Baron pit there, but it was just a little hiccup on the way to a pretty well played game to get the win in game 1.
Definitely so. And I mean, shout out has to go to Laundry on the Udyr 5-0 and 14. Very impressive stat line. 19 out of 21 or 22, pardon me, kills taken there. Branny Fan does not die, and the entirety of the game is on pace with Gecko. However, just unable to get that momentum equated into a mid to late game victory for them.
Yeah, and looking for drop dead, right? I think it came down to a little bit of greed. Even in the first trade of objectives, they take the dragon and they go for the grubs, right? Which was good. You kind of want to utilize your early game champions, but they do it once again and they end up getting punished for it this time as they all die. Sivir gets a double kill and they had Branny Fan just completely getting an entire tower for himself, and that wasn't enough. So they end up kind of throwing the lead there, and that just snowballs it perfectly for the loss there. So we'll see how they want to switch it up going into this next game. Do they want to play that early game champions again, or try and go for a more traditional scaling kind of thing?
And we will find out soon what they decide to go for as we jump into game 2. We'll be back in just a bit for that draft. See you guys shortly.
Tell me, where do I go? Tell me, where do I take us? Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safe. As I dive in, bloodstains washing underneath the waves. As we fall, I can't hold on much longer. I ask you, will you follow me tonight to break their spine and reclaim what once was mine? Those cravens backstabbed me, deceived me. Never shall I tolerate their crimes again. Now let the hunt begin. Oh, 7,000 souls scared and daunted, such a tale of woe. Not too long ago, this village was a golden scene of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer. Fellow warriors, I ask you, should my campaign come to an end, there's way more to avenge. Oh, 15 million souls living in this realm without much hope. Not too long ago, this kingdom was a golden state of hope. Call down the reckoning to bring back hope and peace. Restore our Gloria to live forever. Bring down the dark regime. I know how to unleash eternal power. Lead us to order. I am the light bringer.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Titan v Aegis Esports battle. We've got an opportunity here for DDG to bounce back. They have decided to go blue side, and so now we get to take a look at maybe some banning changes here in this battle, but it's going to be the same 3 bans for DDG here, Karthik.
Yeah, looks like it might just be a salty run back or something. Aurora being taken off the board, recognizing the power of it. Just season 14 champions. It's way too OP, man. Get it out of here.
Yeah, and it's one of those champions that also
lock that in.
Samira? Question mark? B1? I can't believe that would be the case. Sejuani available. Hecarim not as exciting as a Sejuani or a Samira, but could still put in a punch, and it is going to be the Hecarim coming in for Evil Lobster.
Yeah, Hecarim first pick is a bit crazy here. I like the Udyr as an answer to it. pretty much like you can play Udyr into a lot of stuff, Hecarim included. Hecarim has been popping up here and there recently as the other characters have consistently been getting nerfed, so he's kind of been climbing up the ladder in secret. So he's not some trash pick or anything like that. It's a decent character, has a lot of damage and dive potential, and he's been gone for so long that people may have forgotten how to play against it, you know? So we'll see how well it'll work out.
Yeah, like you were talking about, Hecarim, not as prominent, not as important of a pick as maybe it was in season 11, late season 12, but can still put in a lot of work, especially if you're able to find those off angles with the onslaught of shadows. Udyr and Rel is going to be the R1-2 pick for AWE, going to be sticking with what worked in game 1.
Yeah, I think that just gives you such a solid core, right? You got a good front line, good engage, good zone creation as well with both of these characters. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. Just those 2 picks can be coming up again. But I like the Swain here, you know? You got some characters that kind of got to go in, so they're going to try out the Swain here.
And it was a pick that was hovered a lot from DDG in that R3 from game 1, and opted against it. The result just unfortunately did not work out with that Varus Nico, but Swain is an option that can go a lot of different places, and now maybe less places as the Silas gets locked in. Garen, the immediate response, let's go Mags. They love playing it. They love playing it into Silas, and it's going to be the mid lane matchup, I'm sure.
Yeah, that was just insta, just brain dead. Yeah, pick me Garen here. There's a Silas on the enemy team. Really surprised to see Silas Swain just being picked up. I think they might have just picked the Silas because they didn't want the other team to have it into the Swain, so why not just have both? So since the Hecarim's jungle, Silas gonna be probably pushed to mid, maybe top. Swain maybe gonna be going into the bot lane here, but hey, we got a Garen for Art of War here.
Yeah, very exciting stuff, and Mags really touting it. Wanted to play it in game 4 of the AML finals. They opted to go for the Nasus versus Corki, which, I mean, I was not a believer until I saw Mags play it in action, and it put in a substantial amount of work. So we'll get to see that Garen now played once again, a little bit of a rematch from a quarterfinals round. But it's the Nautilus and Ashe getting taken away from Art of War. Varus can be banned away from DDG. It's what they played in game 1. Let's see what the second ban is going to be. I'm assuming something topside.
Yeah, maybe the Swain going into the ball lane means they can start pouring out some of those bans for what counters it, right? But it's gonna be the Jinx, and yeah, Xayah instantly locked in. I love the Xayah pick. I was just about to mention it. You got a Hecarim just diving you. Xayah's just perfect. Just press R and be okay. But maybe we got a baby dragon on the other side.
And Smolder is the hover. Concerned that I don't see a sort of early game bridge other than the Hecarim as of yet. And Lee Sin comes in. That means I'm assuming that Hecarim is not going to be going into the jungle anymore.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna be the Hecarim top going for that lane bully mentality. Honestly, Lee Sin top can do the exact same thing, so I feel like those two are interchangeable. It looks like it is the Swain support, however, with the Smolder, which is, again, a weird lane to say the most, but yeah, a solid counter pick with the Camille if it is going to be like the Lee Sin top. Both Hecarim and Lee Sin kind of have that similar identity, so Camille just wants to chill back and scale a little bit. But yeah, that is a draft that of all time that we have seen from Drop Dead Gaming. I don't know, man. What do you think? Are they cooking here, or is it about to burn?
Maybe half baked would be my assumption here, because if you go into the draft thinking that maybe you're trying to go for this sort of Hecarim Swain Silas combination, would you maybe ban out some different champions in that first phase?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly, Like the Yasuo, not sure, maybe that's just some pick that they're banning for fun, but you'd love to play against those with these. Even just like the Swain here, I think we'll have a little bit of a difficult time getting onto the Xayah. Honestly, the Xayah just looks like such an insane pick here. In general, Xayah has been on the come up as the ADCs have all been getting nerfed around her, and she is amazing when picked in the right spot, and this is exactly what that is. With basically every one of their smolder just has to go in, so everyone's just going to get pulled from those feathers, and it is going to be a great time. I'd love to be the Xayah in this game.
And so that brings up the question I had when we got into the second phase of the draft, which was, what is the bridge for DDG into this late game? Because we all know the power of Swain, Sylas, Smolder, all three of these champions. Once they get some items going, once their builds start completing, they get really insane, and the infinite scaling that Swain, provides, they're going to be dominant in the late game. But how do they get from the first 15 minutes to a point where they can start to really contest some of these neutral objectives and win these team fights?
Yeah, I mean, it should be Swain's support too, so I feel like his scaling is like honestly a bit out of the question already. Smolder is going to be that scaling that you want to talk about if he reaches like not even just the Elder, but you got to get to like 300-ish stacks for it to be really crazy with how much Riot's nerfed like the Executor and everything right now. But yeah, I think their angle is honestly just a snowball, right? Look for fights repeatedly with these early game skirmishers like the Hecarim, the Sylas, and the Lee Sin, and see what is going to happen. You know you're going to be stronger than them, so force those fights, get every objective, contest their jungle camps, and you just want to run them over, basically.
Yeah, I agree. And so when I look at this composition from DDG, there are those question marks for me. I'm always happy to be proven wrong here in these battles, and I've been proven wrong several times in the AML. Players, we're at a level of play where players can go for something that maybe isn't necessarily meta. Teams can go for a composition that they've been working on that doesn't necessarily work in, say, the LCS or in a Worlds Championship match, but players on their own individual scales can outperform their opponents and make the meta obsolete. And so I'm curious to see if that happens here for Drop Dead Gaming. But let's go ahead and jump into the Dragon Draft for Game 2. You accurately predicted that it was an Ocean Soul in Game 1, and I'm going to start by taking away that Hextech Soul.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly pick up that Cloud and Infernal. I think both will be exciting if we get it.
Okay, Cloud and Infernal for Karthik, and I'm gonna leave you with everyone's favorite, the Chemtech Soul.
Oh no.
which means I'm gonna take the Ocean and the Mountain here for game number 2. Really quick though, before we take it to a quick break, do want to point out for Aegis Esports that signups for the fall 2024 Aegis Champions League. That's your uncapped league for Aegis that happens every Friday with Gordo and TDS. Very fun league to watch and play in. Those signups are now live. So if you guys want to get in on that, if that's something that you're interested in doing, please join the Aegis Esports Discord and sign up as soon as possible. Love to have anyone and everyone in for this fall 2024 split. With that being said, though, go ahead.
Yeah, and with that, let's just throw it over to a quick break. We've got some crazy action coming up, so go grab some popcorn and come back to your seats as we head into game in a short bit.